Yes, let's talk about hockey, the show that journeys through the history of the sport of ice hockey from its disputed origins to the game we see today. When it comes to athletes who truly love to play a sport, or in general people who love to partake in a physical activity, they usually find a way to get around any obstacle preventing them from playing. This even includes physical disabilities in some cases, like runners with prosthetic legs, skiers who use outrigger poles, or even hockey players who play a form of the game known as sledge hockey.
Essentially, sledge hockey is the same as regular hockey, since all of the rules in regular able-bodied ice hockey also apply to sledge hockey. The main differences have to do with the equipment. Players sit strapped into a metal frame that rests on two regular-sized skate blades that raise the frame up high enough to allow the puck to pass beneath it, and use two sticks 75 centimeters in length with small picks on one end and regular stick blades on the other to both propel their sled across the ice and to handle the puck. The goaltender also has additional picks at the bottom of the stick blade, as well as picks attached to the catching glove. Like regular hockey, each team is allowed 5 skaters and 1 goaltender on the ice. Teams are comprised of a maximum of 15 players per team, including 2 goaltenders, and games consist of 3 15-minute stop-time periods. The surface area inside the players' benches and penalty boxes are made of smooth plastic or ice to avoid damage to the players' sleds. And entranceways to both of these areas are also built flush with the playing ice so the players can access them without any type of assistance. Apart from these equipment differences, the only rule unique to sledge hockey is penalties for teeing, which means charging an opponent using any part of the front radius of the sled. The concept for sledge hockey was first invented in 1961 by a few Swedish wheelchair athletes, which included future Paralympian Rolf Johansson. The athletes developed this game at a rehabilitation center in Stockholm as a means of recreational therapy and would play it on a nearby frozen lake. To overcome their disabilities, they fashioned 2 skate blades on a metal frame that allowed the puck to pass underneath. Then completed the ensemble by including 2 round poles with bike handles for sticks.
Though interest in sledge hockey was slow to catch on, by 1969 Stockholm had a 5-team league. And that same year, Stockholm also hosted the first international sledge hockey match between one of its local club teams and one from Oslo, Norway. Later, during the 1970s, matches between teams from Sweden and Norway played once or twice a year, and in 1976, 2 Swedish national teams even played an exhibition match at the inaugural Paralympic Winter Games in Sweden.
In the early 1980s, 2 more countries began to establish teams, with Great Britain putting a club together in 1981 and Canada in 1982. Then, in the early 90s, the United States, Estonia, and Japan established teams of their own too. With enough nations having teams to put forth in competition, sledge hockey made its debut as an official event during the 1994 Paralympic Winter Games in Lillehammer, Norway. Only 5 teams would compete during sledge hockey's inaugural Paralympic run, with Sweden defeating Norway 1-0 in the gold medal game and Canada earning the bronze over Great Britain by a 2-0 score in the other medal game. Since that first Paralympic tournament, sledge hockey has been a regular fixture at the Winter Paralympic Games, with several additional countries entering teams of their own over the years. From a game on a frozen lake in Sweden in the 1960s, to a sport played in about 15 countries around the world today, sledge hockey has come a long way. And at the 2018 Paralympic Winter Games in Pyeongchang, South Korea, we will get to see what comes next.